Okay, so this stream should be getting started here any moment. In fact, there it is. It's a little bit behind, but it's there. Welcome. This is my basically look at update 17. It's going to be a live kind of video, and you can ask me whatever questions you want. The stream is surprisingly not very far behind, so you can get your answers pretty quickly. This update is a massive update to SKARO, basically. So I know I had said in my Discord server that it was going to be a First Doctor themed update, but I thought I would just sneak in a surprise SKARO update in between. Thing is, the SKARO update ended up being a lot bigger than I intended. Which is not a bad thing. I think I've done a great job at actually like making SKARO feel more like a proper dimension and not just one singular biome with like 3 blocks and a bunch of Daleks. There's actually variety in the blocks and mobs on SKARO now, and it actually has multiple biomes. So yeah, I would love to show that off. Firstly, I do just want to point out, as a minor thing, but this is a new Dalek variant. The Necros Dalek, which has its own voice, as in the episode. And yeah, every Dalek actually has a new model now. So you can see this Dalek actually does look a bit slimmer than the ones we had previously in the mod. And that same is going to be true for all of them. So this is a good example. This is the Imperial Dalek, which now looks like this. And I love the sounds on these ones, but check that out. It's got like the sucker that's actually like accurate. It's got little notches in the side. I tried hard to get these really accurate. They've got this like really nice look to the eye stalk, and then the lights look really good on these ones, and accurate to the shaping of those. But yeah, this is the Bronze Dalek. We had this in actually the last update, I believe, the updated model for the Bronze Dalek, but every single Dalek now has a new model. This one was already in. There's quite a few Daleks in the mod, obviously. So I will show you a couple of them, just kind of randomly selecting as examples. And it suddenly got really quiet because I walked away from the Daleks. That's funny. So yeah, this is a new feature, actually. The SKARO City Dalek from the Dead Planet actually will turn into a block if it is not touching a new block called the electrostatic plate. That is because in the original story, the Daleks were powered by static electricity, and basically they would become immobile if they were not touching static electricity plates. So I've replicated that in the mod, and you'll see those plates later on when we get to the new Dalek City. Ooh, pardon me. Yes, the Dalek City has been completely revamped. Every single structure on SKARO has been completely revamped. Basically nothing has remained exactly the same as it was. But yeah, now these Daleks will require these plates, but you can see this is the new model for them. The guns are actually slightly different on different Daleks, and this one is accurate to the Hartnell guns with little 3 rings along here. The plunger is exactly as it is. It's actually 2-dimensional. You kind of can't tell because it's dark, but the eye stalk looks like this, and this is actually based on the Dalek seen in the Space Museum. So it's got the kind of silver eye stalk on the end, just like this. But yeah, that's one kind of big thing of this update, is just really trying to make the Daleks as accurate as it possibly can. Master Plan Supreme Dalek. So this comes in both red and black variants now. There you go. And I'm just going to turn down my sound just a little more because it's a little loud. But yeah, the red variant's based on the cover of the novelization of the Daleks Master Plan. And then the black one is just based on a normal story. But you can see these slats are now 2-dimensional as opposed to the kind of chunky ones I had previously on the Daleks. The balls don't stick out quite as much, and then as I mentioned, things like the eye stalk and the gun are kind of new and are now more kind of 2-dimensional. I'm trying to incorporate more kind of 2-dimensional elements into the Dalek models and other mobs. Trying to get a Minecraft look, but also just I feel like it just adds kind of better proportions than I had before. Frontier Commander, this is the one from Day of the Daleks. And you can see what I mean with the different guns. This one does not have the rings. But yeah, every single Dalek has been updated in some way. Yeah, so they all kind of have the similar look to them. The Renegade Daleks, the temporal weapons, this is going to be in the same style as the Bronze Daleks, as you can see. And the cannon on these looks really cool now. And that's going to be the same on the regular Special Weapons Daleks. And here's the new Paradigm Daleks. They are quite tall, and they actually have these cool details in the eye, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's not a lot to show off in the overworld, so I'm just going to get straight into the new SKARO. So, you know what, I'm going to use the TARDIS to go to SKARO, because there's some new stuff to show off with the TARDIS. First and foremost, you can see this new item texture, which really does just look a bit nicer than the one we had before. I'm basically going in and redoing a lot of old things in the mod. So yeah, you can see this does look a lot nicer. So the TARDIS itself is obviously identical. There is one or two new exteriors this update, which I can show off later on. And I'm actually on a new computer, so it's going to run a lot faster as far as loading the interior. The heck's going on outside? I don't know. But you can see we actually spawned with the TARDIS key in our hand and the TARDIS manual. So the TARDIS key is no longer craftable. You just get that by default when you spawn the TARDIS. And you can actually duplicate the TARDIS key. So if you want to grant other people access to the TARDIS, that's kind of your choice. You don't have to just do that by default anymore. And you can see this does have a new item texture as well, which honestly looks pretty good. And then we have the TARDIS manual, which does replace River's Diary, and this will just give you basically a rundown of every single function of the TARDIS. So for example, telepathic circuits. It has a photo here, and it'll just tell you about kind of what it does and whether it is crafted or if it spawns naturally within the TARDIS. So yeah, those are just some kind of basic quality of life features. Now, I really should address the elephant in the room. This is not the same console room that you're used to. So this is the console room built by DT10, and I just decided that the 14 to 15 Doctor's TARDIS in the mod should match that in order to match the other interiors in the mod, which are also based on DT's designs. The normal one that we had is still in the mod. You just need to kind of look for it a bit. It is, I think, all the way at the end of the desktop GUI. Here it is. So yeah, it is now called TDWM Classic with Builder Teab 2. And here's our other new one. This is the Forest on the Inside by Turnip. This is based on the contest submission and looks like this. I have made some slight alterations from the design I was given just to kind of make it a little more interesting, just in terms of I added these frog lights just to kind of add some lighting because it was dark just because of the way the dimension is lit. And then I did also just add, you know, the controls, and yeah. So this it's honestly really cool. I like it a lot. Yeah, I like, you know, my goal was this with this contest was kind of a naturalistic theme to the TARDIS, and so we have kind of wooden bridge and obviously just all of this grass and kind of flora. And over here we even have a little section. This did have armor stands. I will get those fixed by the time the update releases, but yeah, this looks pretty dang cool. I like it a lot. So yeah, let's use this TARDIS and go to SKARO then. Whoops, passed it. I really need to add a way to go back in the menu. And here we are. We're kind of in the water. Here we go. So we are now on SKARO. And right away you can see some of the new biomes. I'm just going to make the time day. So now there is also a day-night cycle on SKARO. That's something that should be kept in mind. But right off the bat, you can see pretty big difference. This is concrete powder, but it's supposed to represent kind of ash. This is like the ashy beach biome. And then right here we get into the main biomes. So this is the SKARO Wastes biome. And you can see this is the new, another new model. Well, we already saw the Renegade Dalek, but yeah, I like showing off the new models because I just think they look cool. Speaking of which, this is the Varga plant, which this was in the mod previously. It just looked very, very different. It was more like a wool texture, and then it had kind of the spine sticking out of it extremely far. And I basically just tried to make it look like kind of a mixture of like Minecraft leaves and also Minecraft cactuses. So yeah, kind of the spines are more akin to those of cactus now. And then the overall texture is basically just a leaf texture. And then it does actually have legs at the bottom, just to kind of represent, hey, there's an actor in there. I think in the show it was kind of said to be like roots that the plant kind of drags itself along by. And another thing you're going to see right away is you have this radiation poisoning effect. Previously, radiation poisoning was handled basically as just like an ambient thing that just kind of happened to you. Now it's actually like a status effect to be more in line with Minecraft. And you can see if we go into survival, I'm going to immediately start just slowly dying from the radiation poisoning. And we are going to need radiation pills, which I'll show you more on in a bit. But I just want to show you this Varga plant does in fact inflict poison when it hits you. So yeah, this guy is not that strong, but you know, he does do some things. One thing I would recommend doing if you see a Varga plant is to get this new teacup. And yeah, you can't do it directly, but if you kill this guy, he will drop something new that can be used with the new teacup. He did not drop it that time. That's a shame. There you go. So we got Varga leaves. And then these, I'm just going to show you Varga tea, which can be crafted with teacup and 6 Varga leaves. And then the teacup can be crafted with 3 clay balls. And as you can see, when we get back to that, that'll be in the food section. Here we go, Varga tea. And this is just kind of a food source on SKARO. And when we drink it, we do get an advancement as well, surprisingly passable. So yeah, this, I believe it does give you some hunger points back. And yeah, basically just a nice little food source in SKARO. And you did see another one in the inventory, raw and cooked clam. I'll show you more on those. This is the mutant clam, which was previously in the mod, but it, apologies, it did get a model and texture update just to look a bit more sophisticated and a bit more in line with the newer models in the mod. And yeah, this guy, he will kind of melee attack you and spawn in this waste biome. And as you can see, you do get raw clam when you kill them, and that can be cooked and eaten. And so yeah, we now have some nice little food sources on SKARO, just to make it slightly more livable, despite it being overall not very livable because Daleks, of course. This is the Petrified Forest biome, which was previously in the mod. This is primarily home to Thals, and actually in the daytime, this biome does not have any Daleks in the daytime. They only spawn at night in this biome, so it's a little more safe. And yeah, Daleks in general in all the biomes are going to spawn more at night than they do at day, so that's just something to keep in mind. I'm getting off track here, but this is the plate fern. I've just added a couple new plants to this biome as well to make it a bit more interesting. So the plate fern, and then there are these petrified tulips as well. These are new. And then the petrified roses that were already there are, of course, already there. This is the Thal, so now it's not broken up into male and female variants in the mobs. They're all just one mob that is basically just in different variants. So you can see we get the females and the males. And then we have ones based on the original Dead Planet story. And we have these ones in these kind of yellow and green outfits based on the Peter Cushing movie, actually. So we can get loads of different variants. And then this is actually a kind of cloak that some Daleks, or Thals rather, all of the Thals, in fact, can spawn wearing the cloak. So if we spawn more, we'll eventually get more wearing the cloak. And the cloak is actually made, again, from the Varga leaves, and so this is a Varga leaf cloak is what it's called, and I'll just show you that. So yeah, it fits decent, I would say. Got my cape sticking out the back, but yeah, I am going to add more cloak in the future, more cloak variants, but yeah, this is what we have. So one thing I will mention as well, none of these items are actually properly ordered in the creative tabs as of yet, so they're all just kind of bundled here at the end of the tabs. But they will be by the time the update releases, which I'm shooting for Monday or maybe even Sunday, honestly. But yeah, it just depends when I get more beta testers, which, by the way, if you want to join the beta, literally just contact me on Discord and I will send that to you. I just need you to get me your feedback in by the end of the weekend, basically. But yeah. So you can see this is something cool. The Daleks actually do apply a glowing effect when they fire now, which is just a nice little change to kind of replicate the show a bit better. But yeah. So the Thals, again, they work as they did. You can actually barter with them using Dalekanium ingots. And then this is the Thal Hunter, or the Thal Explorer. I think I renamed it somewhere down the line. But these guys now come in a few different variants as well, with and without helmets. So yeah, but these are kind of your Thals that'll actually go after Daleks. This is the Magnodon, which previously we had the Petrified Magnodon as a block, which I think is more accurate to the show, because in general Magnodons were kind of extinct by the time the Doctor got to SKARO. But I decided to add them as mobs, actually, and these guys come in a few different variants based on iron, copper, and gold, and the rarity is actually matching that, so the iron ones are the most common, etc., etc. The petrified ones do still spawn around, though, and these guys do actually do some things now. So if we get some iron, gold, and copper ingots, these do actually react to those now. So if we grab an iron ingot, it might be a cobalt ingot, actually, that these guys will actually follow. So cobalt is something new for SKARO, which I will get to in a bit. But you can see if you hold one of these guys will follow you. They can't be tamed, though, but you can actually give them either iron, copper, or gold, depending on what variant of Magnodon it is, and they will actually magnetize and attract those items to them. So you can see this guy has a status effect, and if I drop some items on the floor, they will get pulled towards him just like so. And yeah, check that out. So any kind of iron items will get pulled toward the Iron Magnodon, and likewise, items that are copper will get pulled toward the copper ones, but again, only if you feed them one of that ingot, just like so. And then same for the gold one. Any gold items will get pulled toward them once you fed them the ingot. So yeah, Magnodons are actually neutral mobs, and they will just kind of add some nice life to SKARO. And yeah, I will get now to the other things in the update. There are more biomes we can look at, but I also just want to look at some of the new blocks. This is the radiation meter, and then I do want to show off these two as well. So the radiation meter is for the TARDIS, but also it can be used outside the TARDIS, and it does exactly what you'd expect. It just tells you what are the radiation levels where you are. So on SKARO, it's always going to be high on SKARO, it's going to be high on the on midnight. It is going to be extremely high, and then everywhere else it is going to be normal. So yeah, this basically just tells you is the dimension you're in right now, and or the dimension you're targeting to go to in the TARDIS, is there high radiation there, basically. And then this is the TARDIS hat stand. So there are two different variants of hat stand now. There's a block and then this entity variant, which is actually compatible with the hats in the mod. These are a couple new clothing items I'll show you as well. But yeah, if we wanted like a fez, for example, yeah, this will kind of sit on the hat stand. If we want a Stetson, for example, this will also sit on there. The Stetson's brand new, and I just want to show you that. That looks really cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, I just added some random little clothing items. Another one being the 10th Doctor's trench coat, which again looks pretty nice and is really just, you know, cosmetic little clothing items that I think add a bit of life and a bit of fun into the mod. So yeah, there's that. And then the final kind of block would be the guitar. Let's set our time to day. Suit, that's a word. Time set 0. And yeah, as you can see, this, oh, it emit light. I need to change that. But yeah, this is kind of designed to look like it's kind of sitting against a wall. And yeah, it's kind of as a decorational block. And then what you're supposed to do is you can right click it. And look at that, it makes little noises, little note block sounds for guitars. And then, oh yeah, okay, I really want to show you this as well. So the eye stalks have actually had an update. So obviously we have this new one, the SKARO Citadelic eye stalk, but all of these have been updated slightly so that they look different in your inventory and when placed on your head. But as you can see, check this out. So for the SKARO Citadelic eye stalk, we actually have this, you know, accurate 60s eye stalk view. And then likewise for the Remembrance one, yeah, I changed this as well. You can see it actually appears on the player as well. But yeah, this is a change from the one we had before. And then likewise, the normal new series Delic eye stalk has its own effect as well, which actually has a lot of detail on it, but you kind of look close. Some of it kind of gets washed away. But yeah, all of the eye stalks have been updated, and those are, as always, just kind of a rare drop from the Daleks. Let's do a little more exploring here. So just to show off a bit more, here's again that kind of beach biome that will usually spawn like right near the coastlines and can be rather big as well. But yeah, kind of the idea with the concrete powder was kind of a dust beach kind of thing, kind of giving SKARO this like overall ruined vibe to all of the biomes. This, I believe, is actually a different biome. It is not. So the beach is kind of called the Ocean of Ooze, that being because it also kind of ties into the ocean biome as well. So yeah, we have an ocean biome, we have this waste biome, we have again the petrified forest, and then we have a couple more. Okay, this one with the mud, this is the hand mine field, and as you can expect, it's going to be filled with hand mines and of course land mines as well. So let's see if we can find a hand mine, because they do actually have some new stuff to them as well. Mob spawning should be decent here. Here's one. So I just want to show you what these guys do. And I am going to take a radiation pill because I don't really want to deal with radiation. So radiation pills actually cannot be stacked anymore. They stack to 1. And so if you want multiple in one slot, you're actually going to need one of these cobalt tins. Of course, this is crafted from cobalt, which is again a new ore on SKARO. And the cobalt tin can only hold radiation pills, nothing else. And basically it just, yeah, it stores them just like so. And so if you want to store more than, you know, 1 per slot, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to craft one of these from the cobalt ore. So yeah, let's take this radiation pill, and you can see it replaces the anti-radiation with the it replaces the radiation, I should say, with the anti-radiation. So yeah, these guys, the hand mines, you actually want to be very careful. So as with the show, they have this new model, and it honestly looks really cool, and they got these creepy little animations as well. But the cool thing about these guys is that they actually respond to your movement. So you can see I'm sneaking, and they are not attacking. But if I start kind of moving, they are going to come after me. So you do want to kind of sneak around and be careful when you're in this biome. And if you sprint, they will actually sprint after you as well. So yeah, you want to be very careful when you're going after, when you're with these guys. So yeah, sneak whenever you can, so that they are going to not perceive you as a threat. Oh no, there's quite a few of them. But yeah, sneak, and they will not kind of perceive you as a threat. They're going to respond to your movement. So, you know, you're not sneaking, they're going to go a little faster. And if you sprint, they are going to go even faster. So yeah, you do want to be very careful of these guys. And yeah, if you forgot what these guys do, they pull you into the ground basically, and they do despawn once they do that. So yeah, they'll only really do it once, and then yeah. This is the Dalek cover bout. I'm sure you all have seen this in previous updates. Yes, I am. But yeah, the Dalek hover bout, you know, it spawns mostly in this biome, and kind of these muddier biomes where the Daleks can't navigate maybe as well. They will kind of do these hover bouts, and these things will, of course, hover and attack as such. What are we saying here? Okay, sorry, I'm only just checking the chat. Cool seeing that you got into modding, so learn my love for commands from your TARDIS. Can't wait. Yeah, so commands are a little bit of a pain in the butt, if I'm honest, just because Mojang keeps changing the syntax, honestly, which means a lot of my old TARDIS maps no longer work on newer versions of Minecraft, and it just got tiring catching up, honestly. I'm probably going to return to commands in the future, but for now, the modding is fun, and I really enjoy it, so this is kind of what I've been doing. But yeah, I'm glad you're excited to see more of this. This update, again, is update 17, a big update to SKARO, which is going to be coming out this weekend, possibly even Monday. So yeah, I will let you all know, mostly in Discord, and then I will put a notification out on YouTube as well as to what's going on there. Again, Petrified Forest, I already went over this, I think. But there are a couple more biomes that I do want to show off as well. And then there are new structures as well. As I said, every single structure on SKARO has been completely rebuilt. And then there are a few new ones as well. So yeah, I'm going to kind of search for those and hopefully show those off. Let's see. Yeah, and the generation, kind of where the biomes generate, is a little bit still subject to change. I think I've got it mostly down how I like it, but, you know, I've been kind of tinkering with it. These two are supposed to be kind of the main biomes, and then this beach is supposed to spawn near the coast. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just get these massive swaths of beach elsewhere. Oh! We just ran into a new structure. Okay. One thing I will note as well, these are some new blocks, which I need to cover the blocks. So, ash slate, scald slate, scorch slate, and then there's another called frost slate. These are going to be the main kind of stone blocks, and then overworld stone does spawn sometimes in some of the biomes, but it's mainly just these ones. So I'm just going to show you in our planet block section, scroll down, and here they are. So ash slate is pretty much just the SKARO stone we already had, but now we have brick variants as well. We have slabs, stairs, walls, and a chiseled variant as well. So here they are, and they have kind of this cracked look to them to kind of give this ruined look. And then here's the chiseled one with a little Dalek face on it, just like so. And likewise, we have that for all of these other blocks as well. So the scorch slate, and then you actually want to do, there's, sorry, my brain is all over the place, but scorch slate, we have the full set, and then we also have a polished set as well. So I'll just show you that. So the polished one looks like this, and then the normal one looks like this. It's not, you know, that big of a difference, but it's honestly not bad. And then polished, and then the slabs, stairs, etc., as I mentioned, and then we have that for the other ones as well. So I believe the, yeah, ash slate does not have a polished variant, but the other ones do. So scald slate looks like this, and these are all named after like ash, scorch, scald, frost, all kind of like harsh conditions, kind of to give that vibe across for SKARO. And I just want to show the scald slate, the stairs, slabs, etc., the polished one, and the chiseled one, which this one has the Dalek Emperor on it, which I thought was a nice touch. And then for scorch slate, it has a Davros face on it, just like so. And I want to show off the other ones. So frost slate looks like this. And then here's a few more. just various blocks. Yeah, there are ores that spawn on SKARO now, which I'll get to in a moment as well. So these are the frost slate, which kind of have this look to them, and this one of course has a Dalek on it, just like so. So another big change is the fact that there are now these ash slate coal variants, as well as iron and copper, gold, and of course the new cobalt ore. And I'll just show you the block for cobalt as well. So here's what cobalt ore looks like. It's going to spawn basically on diamond level, so it's pretty rare, but it does have a nice use later on. This is the mineral block for cobalt, and this is the raw cobalt block. So yeah, and just to show you the proper cobalt ingot, here it is. And this is of course used to craft the cobalt tin. That's the main use. Well, one of the main uses of cobalt. It has another one, but yeah, this is the raw one, and then this is the ingot form, of course. And then cobalt is actually used in conjunction with dalecanum to form Metalert. Metalert is based on the Dalek comics from the 60s. It was in the Dalek mod as well, and I'm just adding it here. And it's basically the strongest armor, and yeah, you do get an advancement for it. This is also probably the best armor to use on SKARO, because it does actually lessen your damage from both Dalek lasers and from radiation. So let's put that on, and you can see it actually has some pretty cool modeling to it, and as a bit of a trade-off, it does actually give you slowness when you wear it. But yeah, you're going to be pretty dang powerful when you wear this. Got full armor points, and then you're not going to really take much damage from this guy, for example. But yeah, it's really going to protect you from the Daleks, of course. So I'm just going to show that off real quick, and hopefully I don't die. So yeah, you're still going to take damage, of course, from the lasers, but not nearly as much. And of course, if I didn't have the anti-radiation effect, we would be taking less damage than normal from radiation as well. So yeah, kind of the whole point of SKARO now, the progression of it is that you do want to get to Metalert armor. So yeah, it's not just powerful for the sake of being powerful, it's actually powerful against specific threats on SKARO, which I thought was kind of the nicest way to do it. So it's of course crafted with Metalert ingots, and Metalert ingots in turn are crafted with dalecanum, raw cobalt, and a bottle of Arkelis sap. Now, Arkelis sap, I will show you where that comes from pretty soon. That's going to spawn in our mountain biome, and that is going to be the Arkelis flower. And if you right-click that with a bottle, you are actually going to be able to get the Arkelis sap from it, and it'll actually dry out the flower. So that's why we have a dried variant. And this can be placed on snow because it spawns in kind of the snowy mountains biome. And yeah, that's what that looks like. And it is actually pretty rare even when you get to the biome, which, you know, in and of itself is probably the rarest biome in the mod. So, or on SKARO rather, I should say. The rarest biome on SKARO. So yeah, this is kind of hard to find. You got to do a lot of exploring to get this, but then you right click and you will get an advancement, and you of course get your bottle of Arkelis sap. So yeah, and again, that is really just used in the recipe for Metalert. Yeah, let's get to this structure, which there's some mobs spawning on top of it, but this is actually the Movellan ship from Destiny of the Daleks. And yeah, it's pretty large. You want to go in right here. You can see this is where the Movellans spawn. They were added last update and are neutral mobs that won't attack you unless you attack them. And they will generally defend you against Daleks. So yeah, this is their ship. It just kind of has some TARDIS controls littered around. The loot chests, I believe, yeah, they basically just have Movellan blasters in them, so you can take these and pew-pew as such. Again, I just really like the model on the Metalert armor. That looks awesome. So yeah, this is the Movellan ship, as I said. And if we walk down here, we can see this room, which is kind of based on the main room seen in the episode. with the couch, funnily enough. I always thought that was funny. But yeah, the Movellan ship, it's not going to be the best for loot. Really, all you get is the Movellan blasters. So if you want a couple of those, you can have them. And then you can, of course, interact with the Movellans here inside the ship. So yeah, this is kind of just one of the structures we have in this update. I'm going to show off the other ones as we encounter them. I'm going to kind of format this as kind of exploring SKARO, you know? And I need to quit talking because I'm kind of just rambling. But yeah, basically SKARO is going to be a lot more kind of exploration based now, where it wasn't before. Oh yeah, and one thing I would like to say about the oceans is we do actually have a mob in here as well. Let's see if I can find it. There is one ocean mob on SKARO. There was a second one, but there were some kind of issues with it, so it's being delayed. But the mob that we have in the oceans should not be this hard to find. Where is it? Are we indeed in the oceans? We are. Okay. Where is it? Let's see. What's chat saying? Yeah, no, I agree. A lot of mods do kind of miss the exploration aspect. Mine did, and I think still does for a lot of the planets, but, you know, I'm going to be gradually changing that. Okay, here we go. Here they are. So these are the marine Daleks, which are not based on the same kind of ones in the Dalek mod. These are actually based on Big Finish. So the Big Finish Time War series had their own marine Daleks that were underwater, and yeah, they function like normal Daleks, except they swim, and they will, of course, shoot at you. So yeah, if we go to survival mode, these guys are going to fire at us, and the firing isn't doing that great, just because it's underwater, but I did give them a bit more strength to their blasts, just so that, yeah, to kind of counteract that, basically. Yeah. So in this biome, we of course also get the Varga plants, and I love the fact that they give the glowing effects now, because it just really gives that kind of X-ray effect like in the show, and I think that's a great way to do that. It still feel very Minecrafty as well. That's kind of a goal for my mod, is kind of to get a good balance of accuracy and also kind of not straying too far from the style of the game. You know, some mods do that to a fault. I'm trying not to do that. I'm taking a lot of community feedback on kind of the art style of the mod, and of course the style of this dimension. You know, I've been asking a lot about feedback on this new SKARO biomes, because yeah, it's a big change and I want to do it right, basically. Add some exploration and basically make it feel like more like a fleshed out dimension rather than just, you know, one big infinite biome that is kind of boring, like we had before. So yeah, I don't know why my throat is very dry. But yeah, I want to find the mountain biome. I want to show that off. So let's do a locate command, because it is a rare biome. Teab's Doctor Who mod, and then all of them are kind of listed in here. So the Geyser Swamp is another one. I'll show that off. Handmine Fields, we saw that. The Irradiated Mountains, this is the one I want to show you. So it turns out there's one pretty near here. Oh, it's actually right next to the Movellan ship. That's surprising. So here is the mountain biome, and it's all snow, and then it's got little bits of stone, and then ash slate, and then kind of the way these other slates work is they actually work kind of like diorite granite in the overworld. That's kind of the goal with them. So they spawn in little patches, and then, of course, here is our ore. We have our iron ore. The ores all spawn at the same heights and rates that they do in the overworld, basically, so use the same kind of mining tactics you would in the overworld to find these. So yeah, here we have the mountain Varga plant, which is based on the Matt Smith adventure games, actually, but this is basically just, you know, a variant of Varga plant with some really cool animations to it. But yeah, it behaves exactly like a normal Varga plant. And that's something else worth noting in this biome. You will actually freeze to death if you're in survival mode, unless you have either a cloak, not a clock, a cloak, a Varga plant cloak, a fur coat, or the 10th Doctor's trench coat. These are a couple different ways to kind of keep yourself warm in this biome. So yeah, a lot of kind of environmental threats as well, which I just think are really cool, and again, just kind of make it seem like not just the Daleks are the dangerous thing on SKARO, but the environment itself is hazardous, both through the radiation and through different threats per biome, whether those be the landmines in this one, the cold in this one, and the Geyser Swamp has some as well, so I'll show off the Geyser Swamp as well. The Geyser Swamp, I believe, is actually the rarest biome on SKARO, so it might be a little bit further away from us. Not a lot further, okay. Check that out. We do actually get an advancement for exploring all of the biomes on SKARO, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is the Geyser Swamp. It is somewhat based on the vanilla geysers that we just added. So you can see we have these teeny little geysers. And yeah, the Geyser Swamp is actually home to one more Dalek variant that I want to show you. And yeah, it looks like this one's kind of a small biome, unfortunately. But, okay, this is another block I want to show off as well. Let me actually get that Dalek as well before I forget. The Marsh Dalek will spawn in this biome, and basically this is a Dalek that's kind of adapted for walking over terrain. And so check that out. This is from the TV21 comics as well, and yeah, it's just a big, kind of War of the Worlds tripod-esque Dalek, and this guy is going to basically shoot at us with his lasers, of course, and he can walk along the ground just like so, and yeah, looks like this. And this block I just wanted to show off. This is the Scalding Mud, and this is actually something you can actually sink into, and it will set you on fire, and you can see I'm slowly sinking down inside it, kind of like quicksand, but yeah, kind of the idea is, again, environmental threats that will kind of get the environment to be dangerous for you, and you can see you can sink into it all the way, just like you would powdered snow. Kind of that was my inspiration, honestly, was kind of powdered snow, except it's kind of a heat and fire version of that. So yeah, Scalding Mud can actually be made into different blocks as well, so I'll show those off. So Scalding Mud, we have Scalding Packed Mud, and then we have Mud Bricks, which can be made into stairs, slabs, and walls, just like so. So here is the Scalding Packed Mud, which this you will not sink into, but I believe it does actually hurt you if you step on it. That could have just been the radiation there, but yeah. And then the Mud Bricks, I believe, are totally safe, but yeah, they just look like this. And again, I'm just trying to add some neat kind of building blocks to SKARO just to make it, again, a bit more interesting and feel like more of a polished dimension. And again, different Daleks for different biomes, like, again, the Marsh Dalek, which, again, probably one of my favorites for this update. Yeah. So that's all of the biomes on SKARO. There are obviously more structures, as I said. I'm going to locate some of those real quick. Teab's Doctor Who mod, and then just scroll down. We have the Dalek Outpost, which was previously in the mod, but this has had an update. You can see it now looks like this instead of just a little dome. It's now this big tower, and it does utilize the Dalek control panels, as well as smooth quartz stairs. Those aren't new. We do have the pure Delicanium, and this now has stairs and slabs as well, which will mainly come into play in the Delic City, but we'll show you that in a little bit. So if you've forgotten, because this was previously in the mod, the Delic control panels don't react to human hands. They actually take a Delic sucker. So yeah, and they will emit a redstone signal as such. This is basically just a small little Delic dungeon that'll spawn around. This is the new model for the food machine. Yeah, I gave it a new model, basically. And yeah, basically, I want to go over everything that is kind of older in the mod and redo it. But yeah, this does have spawners for the SKARO City Delics, and it does have loot as well, which I believe is pretty similar to what it was previously. Yeah, in fact, it's exactly the same as the previous Delic Outpost loot. But the SKARO City Delics I actually do want to show you. So I want to show you how they can actually only walk on these electrostatic plates. So yeah, you can see it's not turning into a block now, but if it were to be too far away from one of these plates, it would turn into a block. And there's a chance it's not going to like these stairs either. No? Huh. Okay, so it is close enough. They need to be within 3 blocks of one of these. And let's just go up to the top floor as well, just to show you. Yeah, we do have kind of a top floor to this Delic outpost. There isn't a staircase to it. You just need to break your way to it. And it, of course, has another spawner and a few more shulker boxes. So yeah, Delic outpost, basically just a fancy little Delic dungeon. And this spawns, I believe, in every single biome. So the next structure is going to be the Delic Saucer. Now the Delic Saucers, of course, are going to spawn in the sky, and we previously had a Delic Saucer for the Delic Emperor, but now we have kind of these normal, smaller saucers, and then, yeah. So these ones are quite well decorated on the interior. I like the way these turned out. The heck? Why are hoverbouts trying to spawn on here? That's not supposed to happen. That's weird. But yeah, this has some cobalt ore in it. It has, you know, controls littered around. It has these glass Delic casings. And yeah, it has yellow shulker boxes and has basically the exact same loot as the Delic outposts, like so. And I'm going to have to figure out why that's happening. Is this spawner trying to spawn? No? Huh. It's not trying to spawn hoverbouts, so why are hoverbouts spawning? These are supposed to just be spawning Time War Delics. Why are hoverbouts trying to spawn? That's weird. That's a bug. Time's at 0. Okay. So yeah, these can spawn in any biome and just kind of spawn in the air like so. And also in the handmine fields, you can see we have little skulls just dotted around, which I thought was a nice touch. But yeah, that is basically all of the biomes on SKARO. And again, at this point, I'm kind of just going through blocks and structures. So I want to know if there's any more kind of blocks I need to look at. Ocellus flower, the ashlight ore, cobalt, the Varga bush does not actually spawn naturally, but I'll show you that. SKARO City Delic casing, we've seen that. Scalding mud, the Delic City door, pure Delicanium stairs, pure Delicanium slab, mutant tube, and G-Brain statue. We will get to those. And then we've gone over most of these items. The slither, I need to show you the slither actually. So the slither is one of the mobs that spawned on SKARO previously. It has had an update as well. So the slither mostly spawns in the wastes biome, and I believe also in the mountain biome. And here is the new model for the slither. This guy has been completely revamped. He acts pretty much the same. I think he has greater knockback resistance and does a little more damage, but yeah, you can see complete change to the model, and of course has some cool animations as well. I just wanted to make this guy a bit more interesting looking and a bit more accurate to the show. So yeah, this is what he looks like, and he now has a drop, and he did drop some, so Slither Hide. And this is used to make the Slither Hide Satchel, which is, again, basically just acts as a backpack and is just a means of storing items, and you can put really anything you want in here and just kind of walk around, and yeah. You can throw it on the ground as well, and if you pick it up, it'll still have it. So you can do really whatever you want with this. It's kind of, it's probably a bit better than a shulker box, honestly, since you can actually put it inside of a chest or whatever you want. This is the Varga bush. It is basically just a block version of the Varga plant and will give you poison if you walk into it, just like so. Slither, I already showed that. The SKARO Warrior Delic. This is basically the Genesis Delic, except it now actually has a few different variants. So as you can see, we have variants that are more based on Genesis, and then these ones are actually based on Destiny Delics. So, yeah, these now kind of encompass multiple Delic stories, in which it's kind of the generic classic series Grey Delics. When we get to a 5th Doctor update, this is going to encompass also the revelation of the Daleks and resurrection of the Daleks. That's the one I'm thinking of. Those designs as well. So yeah, and you can see this is the new model, and of course the texture for the Destiny variants. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's move on to the other structures, and I'm going to leave the Dalek City for last because that's kind of the coolest one and kind of the main attraction. So let's go to the Engie Brain Transport. So yeah, and this is going to spawn a little bit in the air. The Engie Brains are these guys. This is the Engie Brain statue, but we also have a mob which is going to spawn from the spawners as well. These guys are based on the comics as well, and are basically enemies of the Daleks that are invading the planet. So that's kind of the same thing I was doing with the Movellans. I'm trying to kind of add like invaders coming to SKARO to basically take on the Daleks. So let's put a spawner, since they don't appear to be spawning. Engie Brains, yay. So these guys do little clockwork noises, and yeah, they have slow falling and jump boost, because they kind of had like a lot of kind of gliding in the show. So yeah, kind of the idea is they're going to spawn and then kind of glide down and attack the Daleks below. So yeah, pretty cool. And you can see right off the bat, they are going to start fighting the Daleks once they get down here. So let's just show that off. And yeah, they're not that strong, but they do a decent job of fighting Daleks, like so. Now these guys in the comics were the servants of another monster, that being the Monstrons, which have a very funny name. But yeah, here's their ship. It'll spawn on the ground, and as you can see, it has a little ramp. Looks like this on the exterior, and then on the inside, these do not have any loot, but they do just give you the chance to fight a few mobs, those being the Monstrons, and the Engie Brains will spawn in here as well from these spawners. So yeah, of course, here's the Engie Brains, and then let's just wait a second, and the Monstrons will spawn. So yeah, these guys are basically just your typical like humanoid melee mobs, and whoop, I very nearly died there. That was not wise of me. But yeah, these guys are typical kind of humanoid melee mobs. So yeah, they're not, you know, the most exciting thing in the mod. That I would say is probably the Dalek City. These mostly spawn in the swamp biome, by the way. But yeah, let's look at the Dalek City now, unless I'm forgetting another structure, but I don't think I am. Let's see. Yeah, I don't believe I am missing any. Was there something in here? No. Okay, so we're going to find the Dalek City now. So the Dalek City is probably the coolest structure in this update. So with the Dalek City before, I'm just gonna up my render distance here so we can see it a bit better. with the Dalek City before, it was rather big, but it was kind of sparse, and so I've really tried with this new version to really make it crowded and kind of intimidating. And so yeah, we kind of have all of these kind of buildings, and they all do have stuff inside them this time around. So all of them use the electrostatics plates for the floor, and all of them do have these various different interiors. You shouldn't be spawning indoors, that's kind of funny. I'm gonna have to fix a lot with the spawning rules on those guys, I guess, but yeah, all of these do have unique interiors with basically just various controls, kind of give it the idea that the Daleks, you know, control the whole city and their entire operation from here, basically. But yeah, all of these, again, have their own looks to them, and no two are going to be exactly the same. So yeah. This one even has a little TV in it, that's funny. But yeah, basically that is kind of the idea behind all these smaller buildings. And then the main attraction is going to be this main building in the center, which does have a door, which we just need to find. Here we go. So this, of course, is going to take our Dalek sucker to open the door. And this is the new door block as well. Check that out. It actually has a really cool sound as well. I love that. But yeah, you're going to walk in here, and you got like hartnell roundels for lights. You're basically just going to go around and explore, use your sucker to open the doors. This is based on Magician's Apprentice. That is what this room is. And yeah, you'll notice it's very empty, and that is actually because the Daleks are actually not on the main floor of the city. They're actually lower down, so we're going to go to that water elevator in a second. In the meantime here, I just want to explore. This is Davros's infirmary room, again from the Magician's Apprentice, excuse me. But yeah, there's what that looks like. We're probably not going to explore literally everything. In fact, I'm not going to go in that door just to, you know, give you some surprise. I'm not going to go up, but I will show you what's down low. So the kind of basement area of the city is actually where our SKARO City Daleks are going to spawn. And this has some really good loot. I've actually been working on making this loot a little less OP, just because you get a lot of diamonds. But yeah. These guys cannot actually open the doors on their own, so you are going to need to do that for them. But then you can go into each of these little dungeon rooms and fight off the Daleks, basically, is the goal here. So, come in here. This is based on a scene from the original story in which the Daleks actually used food to lure in the Thals. They were like, hey, we're going to, you know, we have an offer of peace, so we're going to give you all this food. And so they had a table set up with food. So yeah, that's basically what I've replicated here. And then there's chests, again, with more food within. Let's do just a tad more exploring. We're not going to explore literally everything, as I said, because I do want to leave a little bit of surprise for you all. But I'm just going to go around and look around. So this room is meant to be kind of the holding area that the TARDIS crew were kept in, again, in that original story, the Daleks. There are a lot more interesting rooms. We just got to find them. So this is, again, kind of a dungeon room. No loot in here, just a spawner. And then there is I want to show you the kind of lab room. I don't remember exactly where it is, but there is kind of a Dalek lab. I just need to find it. It might be over here. Yeah, here it is. So this is the Dalek mutant tube, which, yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a Dalek mutant in a tube. But actually, if you break it, it'll actually release the mutant inside. So yeah, I love that feature. It's like if your curiosity gets the best of you, you're gonna have to fight off a Dalek mutant. And then these chests actually have their own loot table. So the lab loot is actually its own loot with toxic waste. You get some Dalekanium scraps, redstone, rotten flesh. So yeah. Oh yeah, and the occasional Dalek sucker. Pretty cool. So yeah, again, the Dalek City, it's quite expansive. There's a lot of rooms. You can kind of see a hint as to what the rest of the rooms are. And then, of course, as you go further up, there are even more rooms, which I'll kind of give you a little bit of a hint, but I'm not going to properly show you, just to give it a little bit of a secret as to what the rest of the rooms in the Dalek City are. But yeah, the Dalek City is definitely probably my favorite thing in the update, and it definitely took the longest too. But yeah, I absolutely love this. This is really cool. Just a lot of fun, and yeah, overall, I think that is most, if not everything, from this update. This is a massive update. It has over 200 individual changes in it, which is crazy, and definitely the biggest we've seen so far. But a lot of them are just things like, oh, there's a ton of new block sets and a ton of bug fixes, a ton of changes, and yeah. But in terms of like the actual features themselves, I believe we've gone over literally everything we possibly could. So yeah. And I will go back to the TARDIS actually now that I think about it. I'm just gonna, see if we've missed anything and see if you all have any questions for me in the comments just while I'm rambling. Just, throw out any that you have, just in regards to any of the features that we have in the update. I'm just going to look through here and just make certain we haven't really missed anything. That's what the Marine Dalek is called. It's called the Torpedo Dalek. But yeah. And then in our mob section, we have, of course, Monstrons, Energy Brains, Mountain Varga Plant, and the Magnodon. Those are the new things for the mob section. But yeah, in terms of going through the creative tabs, I believe we've gone through literally everything. I just want to show you... I want to show the new TARDIS exterior as well, just for the sake of showing that off. So this is the GUI. I believe we changed it last update, so this is nothing new. I think it's in the others section. Yes. Okay, that's a bug. I need to fix that. That's really funny. It's massive in the GUI. It's going to give you a surprise, though, as to what it is when we walk outside. Yeah, so this is the TARDIS as seen in the skin packs for the old Xbox 360 version of Minecraft. So basically in the poster for those, they actually had a little block-built TARDIS. And when I say little, it's like, it's an accurate size where somebody can stand inside of it. But yeah, this is what it looked like. It was made of wool with kind of diamond blocks for the lantern, glass with wool behind it for the windows. And yeah, it just looked like this. And then when we open it, it was going to look like this. So entirely white on the inside with kind of note blocks on the ground, which that is accurate to those original posters. And yeah, this is just a fun little exterior I added, really just because I wanted to test building one out of blocks within the block bench and then kind of scaling it down and getting a proper kind of exterior out of it. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I think it looks really cool. And again, I will look at the chat now just to see if there's any questions, and then we will sign off. Really hard to find the balance for Minecraft looks. I use... Love the joins for the plants. Love the red. New textures for items. Yes, a lot of items have been retextured. I think I showed off a lot of them, mainly the TARDIS key, the TARDIS item, and the hat stand was retextured to give the item form at least a better kind of look to it that, just feels a bit better and more polished, and it also matches up with the entity one as well. I don't know that much else has been retextured. I guess I could show you the petrified Magnodon was retextured to, again, remodeled and retextured, I should say, to match the entity version. It looks like that. I don't think anything else existing was retextured. I could be forgetting something, though, potentially. Pardon me. Really don't think I am, though. I think I've gotten through mostly everything here. The TARDIS manual that I remade into River's Diary, or other way around, the remade from River's Diary. This does actually have a new texture, just to be more in line with Minecraft books. And yeah, it does have kind of a TARDIS look to it, which I like a lot. Any more questions here? Will the exterior texture change eventually? As far as the police boxes in the mod, yes, I do actually plan on revamping all the police box exteriors. Here's a cool room. It utilizes the client mod roundels. That's funny. But yeah, I do plan on revamping every single police box in the mod, and just everything that's kind of older in the mod is eventually going to get revamped, like all the other exteriors, like the phone box, a couple of others. Oh, that reminds me, we did actually get updates to the tree exteriors in the mod as well. And I just want to show those off real quick before, again, I forget, because I'm a forgetful person. This is crazy, I need to fix this. If we click on vanilla, here's the normal oak tree that we had previously. And you can see it actually uses the non-fancy graphics now, so that there isn't any like Z fighting with the various blocks, because it had that previously and it looked kind of ugly. So I did that, and then I also kind of edited the texture of the leaves to make them a bit more consistent with actual Minecraft leaves. So if I grab like some oak leaves here, they're gonna look the same in the inventory, but I think I have fancy graphics off. I do. Okay, so you can't really tell because SKARO kind of mutes them, but on just most normal biomes in the overworld, these will match up pretty dang exactly to the leaf color. So that is kind of a fix I made. And then check this out, I actually did change the door. So yeah, it now has this really cool little texture for when the door is open. And I want to show you as well, this is not the only tree in the mod now. We actually have two more. So the birch tree now. We did not have a birch tree previously. And as you can see, this also matches pretty dang closely the leaf color. I was really trying to get that right. And yeah, it has kind of a similar look for opening the door. And then we have two more kind of tree exteriors to the TARDIS. Spruce tree, which looks like this and is honestly pretty dang cool. I really like the way these look. These are really awesome, honestly, and are going to be really great in your playthroughs. And then one more tree exterior is the... Oh no, there's two more. Okay, so we have the acacia tree, which I just want to show off. Yeah, that looks awesome as well. And it's going to look cool when you open the door as well. And then I think it's the last one now, question mark. Yeah, that was the last one. The azalea tree. So let's go outside and show that off finally. Yeah, the azalea tree. I have no idea if you guys can hear my dog barking in the background. So apologies for that. But yeah, azalea tree. Pretty cool. So yeah, for the final segment, I'm just going to look back at the chat here. Can you put the satchel into a satchel? I don't know, actually. That would be a little too overpowered, but let's try it just for fun. So, satchel. You cannot. Okay, good. I'm glad. That would be a little too much. Satchelception. Anyway. Teab, can you remake my Trenzalore TARDIS since it looks a bit old? The Trenzalore TARDIS, yes, you did make that, and that is pretty old now. So yeah, that will be remade in future. I think Trenzalore is one of the planets I'm going to give a complete overhaul to in future. At some point, you would hit the limit for data. Yeah, you would, eventually. It could use some shading, but it looks peak. Indeed, it does. Yo, Teab2, hey, how you doing? Xbox TARDIS, yes, pretty cool. When Nexus exterior. My stance on non-canon exteriors that aren't like Minecraft themed is a little bit iffy right now. I'm gonna have to update you on that, but I might be open to fan-made exteriors in the future. Obviously, I'm open to fan-made interiors. So yeah, anybody who doesn't know, we do have contests on Discord for basically making your own interiors for the mod. So yeah, if you want to participate in those, feel free. But yeah, basically, in a nutshell, this is the update. Basically just completely revamping SKARO, trying to make it more like a fleshed out dimension with food, with biomes, with different mobs, different threats, you know, different environmental threats per biome, and yeah, just overall making SKARO more fleshed out. And I'm going to do the same for all planets in the future. So yeah, that's really all. I'd love to hear you all's feedback in Discord or in the comments. If there are comments, I really don't know. I haven't done a live stream in so long. But yeah, thank you all to everybody who tuned in. We have about 7 people now, not very many, but hey, what can you do? Yeah, that's all. Hope you all enjoyed. That's end of the stream. I would do my normal outro, but it just feels a little cheesy. But yeah, see you all, honestly, on Monday when we have the proper release. And then I also have beta testing for the update open in Discord still. So if you contact me on Discord, I will give you the file for the update and the change logs so that you can check out these and all the other changes for yourself. And you can even explore the rest of this Dalek City that I didn't cover as well. So yeah, haha, you might want to do that. But yeah, that's, again, all there really is. And that is going to be end of the stream. So yeah, again, see you all on Monday for the full release. And I am excited for you all to play this update. This is probably my favorite ever. So yeah, enough rambling. See y'all. All right. And now I got to go back to OBS, of course.